If everyone will turn their attention to Sergeant Eubanks and our ROTC for the flag salute, followed by a recording of our VHS Select Choir performing the national anthem and our alma mater.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the hope of the brave?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The boys of Vineland High School love the orange and the blue, and the sturdy sons of Bridgeton to the red and white are true. We will cheer for dear old Vineland, the school we love for aye. For all her sons are loyal to her colors red and gray.
Thank you. I'd now like to introduce the president of our Vineland High School Historical Committee, Mr. Chris Mohan.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for including our historical committee tonight in your induction ceremony. And I also wanted to congratulate our inductees tonight. When you start to look at who's been inducted in the past and who was inducted tonight, you start to realize how much they've given, not just to our school, but to our community. And this is what makes Vineland such an amazing school district, but also an amazing city. We have so much to take pride in. And when we have a ceremony like this, we can start to really appreciate just how much we have in our past, but also in our future. So congratulations to our inductees. Our historical committee will do everything it can to keep this history alive and share it with the future. That's the beautiful thing about our inductees, past and present. They have created this amazing history. It is our job to keep it alive and share it, and we will do that. Congratulations to our inductees. Have a good night. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mohan. Okay, before we introduce our new inductees, we're going to move on with dinner. Okay, so if we'd like to begin from the back, if you'd like to proceed and grab your meal, go ahead, enjoy your dinner. Thank you. From the Vineland Board of Education, Mr. Rob Bono, and from the County Commissioner's Office, Ms. Victoria Lodes. Okay, I am going to call up the individuals that our honorees have chosen to induct them into the Hall of Fame. Once they are finished with their speech, we will ask the honorees to come forward where they will be presented by the committee with plaques from us, the Hall of Fame committee, a varsity letter from the historical committee, certificates from the Cumberland County Commissioner's Office, and commissioners' certificates from the State Assembly. Sorry, it's a lot of gifts. Okay, we're going to start with Mr. Elliot DeShields.
Good evening, everyone. First of all, thank you for coming out this evening for this great occasion, which it really is, because I've been waiting for this for a while, because I think this man is very deserving of this honor, because again, he is a builder of men and of women. I can attest to that, coaching with him all these years and all the things that he does. Say, Mr. Terrence Charles Spencer is a 1982 graduate of Vineland High School. During his educational career, he excelled both academically and athletically. He showcased exceptional skills in football and track and field, earning many honors. Terrence's football achievements include being awarded First Team All-Conference running back, First Team All-Conference defensive back, and All Group 4 running back. Additionally, he was recognized as a second-team All-South Jersey running back, solidifying his reputation as a formidable force on the field. Terrence pursued higher education, receiving a full athletic scholarship to Fort Hays State University and Rutgers University, where he participated in the football program. He graduated with a business degree from Thomas Edison State College. Terrence began serving in the Vineland public school system as a middle school science and math teacher at Landis School prior to transitioning into an in-school suspension instructor at the high school. His passion for athletics continued as he served as the boys' assistant track and field coach and football offensive coordinator at Vineland High School under Elliot DeShields, which is why. He then spent 11 successful years as the head indoor track and field coach, during which time he guided the Vineland High School boys 2002 and 2004 indoor track teams to their first individual and relay state championships. Terrence's commitment to coaching Vineland athletes was also recognized at the national level as the 2003 boys indoor sprint medley relay team won a national championship, and 6 of his athletes became All-Americans. Terrence was named the South Jersey Track Coaches Association Indoor Coach of the Year in years 2002 and 2004. Following his stellar athletic and coaching career, Terrence received a master's degree in educational leadership from Grand Canyon State University. In 2012, Terrence accepted an assistant principal position with Prince Grove Township Schools, showcasing his leadership, skills, and dedication to student success. Terrence presently serves as principal of the Cherry Street School in Bristol, New Jersey. He has served in this position since 2014. He continues to make a positive difference in the lives of students and the educational community. Outside of his professional endeavors, Terrence is a devoted family man, married to Sylvia Galarza, and the proud father of 4 girls, Adriana, Therese, Alexis, which is my goddaughter, thank you, and Elena. The induction of Terrence Spencer into the Vineland High School Athletic Hall of Fame is a well-deserved honor, celebrating his remarkable achievements, leadership, and unwavering commitment to excellence. His legacy will continue to inspire generations of students and athletes to reach their dreams and make a positive impact in their communities. And I just want to say this again. Like I said, I've been knowing Terry for a long time, and he's a very serious person. And you can see it when his daughters, all of his daughters are honor students, all graduated honors. One just graduated from Villanova University with honors. One's in Philadelphia acting, and you know, he's always demanded excellence, not of himself, of his family, and of his student athletes. Okay, it was always in the classroom first before athletics. Okay, some people say, do as I say, not as I do. Terrence Spencer says, do as I do. So ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Mr. Terrence Charles Spencer.
Thank you, Mr. DeShields. That's my buddy right there. We've been through a lot. Just want to say good evening. I would first like to thank the Lord for his many blessings in my life. I've been truly, truly blessed. To the Vineland High School Hall of Fame Committee for this honor, I thank you. Dr. McCann, you thought you were slick because I was wondering why I wasn't part of anything going into this. And then I found out I was one of the inductees. So thank you to the committee. Also, and congratulations again to all the inductees this evening. I'll try not to be before you too long. And I say that because, you know, I was raised in the church, and I'm often reminded of church pastors saying this before their sermons. And some of my friends here are pastors. So when I hear them say that, I kind of brace myself because I know I'm in for a long morning and possibly a long afternoon as well. So I promise I won't do that to you. There's an old African proverb that many of you are familiar with, and it says, it takes a village to raise a child. And I'm truly a product of this. There have been many individuals that have played an important role in my life, and I really want to make sure that I acknowledge and share this in this accomplishment this evening. I want to acknowledge all my friends and acquaintances who are in attendance, including, if you believe it or not, coaches from Millville, Coach Porch and Coach Bill Hoover, if you can just raise your hand real quick. Those are coaches from Millville who over the years, even though you know I bleed red and gray, we've established really good relationship with those coaches, and I appreciate you being here tonight. To my high school coach, Bill Kuchar, and John Parentazzi, and Mike DiBiase was my track coach. Particularly it was Coach Parentazzi that pushed me to be the best that I could be. He often made me really, really mad with some of his constructive criticisms, but I knew that he was only pushing me to be better. He probably never knew that at times I would curse him because he was so demanding of me, but it's now that I really, truly understand why. He was also the person that helped me to understand the term, I don't know if anyone's ever heard this, the term yellow journalism. I'm going to explain this. For those of you who don't know, this is a term used when a reporter publishes a story that is sensationalized and not necessarily true to sell newspapers. He used this term when an article was published on me in the Daily Journal. All right, when I found out what it meant, I thanked him, for it motivated me. And he was doing it jokingly. To my wife, I thank you for all your love and support. We often have very heated conversations regarding who is and was the best athlete in our household. So for those of you who don't know, my wife has been inducted into 3 different Hall of Fames in New Jersey for her exploits as a track and field athlete. So today, publicly, I want to say I concede that she was the better athlete, but I will stand firm on being the better coach. To my daughters in attendance, thank you for your support and just being the absolutely wonderful women that you are. You listened for the most part, and now you're paving your own way. I'm extremely proud of you. To my 3 best friends who are here in attendance, and some have come from a long way. My best friend, Baron Scher, who many know, Greg Prince, ex-military man, and Elliot DeShields, 2 of which I've known for over 50 years. And I say this with the utmost sincerity. I can count on them for anything. They have been there through some very difficult times in my life, but they have always been very supportive. I thank you, my brothers. To my cousins Dawn and Lori, who I call my sisters, you know what you mean to me. Thank you for everything that you've done. I said some of my, who I call family, have come a long way, so I did want to make mention to the Jones family. If you could just raise your hand back there. Some coming from all the way from North Carolina. Miss Eva Jones was my neighbor for all my life growing up. So I thank you for being in attendance here today. To my mentors, Dr. Ned Johnson and Dr. Tom McCann, thank you for your unwavering support as a teacher and now as an administrator for the last 12 years. I really appreciate it more than you will ever know. And with that, I promise to pass on my knowledge and experience in support of others, the same as you have done for me. Thanks to my favorite teacher, some of you may know from way back, Miss Janelle Harris, for instilling the love of learning in me. But most of all, giving me the confidence to speak, sing, believe it or not, and perform in front of audiences. She gave me my first solo performance in front of the entire student body as a 4th grader at Durand School way back when. She didn't know this helped me tremendously in many areas of my life. To all my former athletes, it has been a pleasure coaching you and watching you turn from young men and women who often didn't have a clue about anything, but now you're mature adults who listened when we emphasized God, family, and then everything else. As much as I enjoyed being an athlete, the best of times of my life were coaching student athletes. Thanks for allowing me to be a part of your life. For these final 3 who I want to thank, I just ask that you bear with me. If I get emotional, I'm most grateful to receive this. I have an uncle who many of you know, Bill Bell. He's on that wall out there. It was my Uncle Bill. It was my Uncle Bill that got me involved in athletics. And he really changed my life. So I really want to thank him for everything that he did for me. I played for his midget teams as a youth, and he made sure that I got involved in everything and wasn't out in the streets. So I thank him from the bottom of my heart. Him along with my Aunt Sheila, who couldn't be here this evening. To my mom, Claudia Smith, I can't thank her enough for the sacrifices that she made for me. It completely changed my life. As an 8-year-old, my mother sent me and my siblings from New York to live with my grandmother here in Vineland while she finished nursing school. When she finished school, it was time to go back to New York. And at 8 years old, I was adamant that I didn't want to go. I wanted to stay with grandma. And my mom said I could stay. Painstakingly for her, because that decision changed the trajectory of my life. I will be eternally grateful. I love you, Mom. To my heart, my grandmother, Annie Gomez, who I affectionately called Nah, and don't laugh, Marvin and Martin, and my grandfather, Jesus Gomez. They both raised me to be a man, to handle my responsibilities. They both instilled in me a work ethic that I still have today. Their love and support of my athletics, academics, and the arts, I can never repay. I am because they were the ultimate examples. So if it's okay, I'd like to close with a message to young people. It has been said that in order to achieve anything in life, you have to work hard. And I truly believe that, but it's so much more than that. Kobe Bryant once said that you have to have the Mamba mentality. It's just not working hard, but it's also perfecting your craft. Whatever that may be, from teaching to being an electrician, take the time and effort to go beyond normalcy. Go farther than the average or above average. Strive to make history in everything that you do. I remember telling my first state championship team to make history and do something that no one else has done. I've taken this mindset into every area of my life with no regrets. Thanks again for this honor. And as I tell my students daily, good, better, best, never let it rest until your good is better and your better is best. Thank you, and God bless.
Okay, congratulations, Mr. Spencer, and thank you, Mr. DeShields. To present our next inductee, Mr. Eugene Medio.
You think I have trouble walking? Where do you see him try it? Before I start with what I want to say about somebody I've known for about 50 some years, one of Nick's friends, John Sabrana, couldn't make it tonight because his wife had a slight stroke. So we'd all like to send out a prayer for her. He sends his regards. First time I ever had a cheat sheet, so I'll see how I make out with it. I don't know. I met Nick when we were sophomores, and nobody realized it, but later on in our junior year, the event that would shape Nick's life happened when his brother, Charles Chicky Aselta, was killed in Vietnam. And that was on March 18th of 1968. And from there on, everything that Nick did was always in memory of his brother. All of his accomplishments in later life, anytime you saw him, anytime you had a chance to do something for Vietnam veterans, any veterans, if he could, he did. But before that, he played basketball and baseball for Vineland. His baseball career has a little strange twist to it, but he led the Vineland team to South Jersey Group 4 championship game, and he made first team all Group 4 as a pitcher. And he was ahead of his time because whenever anybody who pitched with his motion, which was a sidearm, almost underhanded motion, tried out for the majors, they were just immediately turned away. But then some of you probably remember, 10 years later, there was a guy named Dan Quisenberry for the Kansas City Royals. And he pitched with the exact same motion. And I told him that one day, you were just ahead of your time. But that's how it goes. He continued to play basketball and baseball at Cumberland, where he lettered there. Played semi-pro baseball in the Salem League and in the Berecan League. And he was appointed to the Assembly of New Jersey in 1985. But before that, he always liked to coach, and he was an assistant coach for Ed Harvard, and he was also on the committee we had that named the gym the Edward T. Harvard Gymnasium. And from 78 to 81, he was Atlantic Community College head coach. But then from there, Nick ended up going to the Assembly, as I said, where he served until he became a state senator. After he was a state senator, he was appointed to the Board of Public Utilities, and right now he's on the New Jersey Vietnam Veterans Committee, and he's involved in setting up a monument that we have up in North Jersey. So, without further ado, I'd like to ask my friend Nick Aselta to come up. Congratulations on being inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Well, as you can see, it took me a little longer to get up here than Gene. We both share a lot of memories, but probably the worst is we both had back surgery in the last 2 years, and it's a long recovery back. I wanted to, tonight, first of all, congratulations to all the other inductees tonight. Every one of them has a story to tell. That's the beauty of athletics. Everybody creates their own story, creates their own lot in life, but most importantly, what you do here fundamentally counts. Thanks also to the Booster Club. I think years ago I was nominated, but because of my two Millville friends here, I don't think they realized that I was instrumental in finding the money to build the Thunderbolt Club back in the 90s, late 90s, and I think that hurt my chances a little bit because a lot of the Booster Club people here were upset, and I remember meeting with the AD, and I said, "You never asked me to help." So we help. Thunderbolt Club is something that is fantastic. And something like that should be done here for the athletes here, and I'd be happy to play a role in that someday. Just a tremendous, tremendous program they run there, and it's just so helpful to players and students. But I think tonight I just want to touch on legacy, what it means to stand on the shoulders of your great-grandparents, your grandparents, your parents, and your brother. And that's what I did here. It's tough for me to talk about this. Last year I did the Memorial Day ceremony up in Homedale. As Gene mentioned, it is the only one in the nation. It's a memorial and a museum and an education center that was built in 1996 and dedicated by Senator John McCain and General Schwarzkopf, and has stayed stagnant for quite a few years. And I got on the board, and we took this thing and we're rebuilding it. But I gave that speech last Memorial Day, and it was heartfelt. But this is a little different because this is sacred ground to me and many of the other people out here. I think about names. It's all about the players that we played with. Basketball, it was Rick Cerrone, Ron Farina, Steve Baruffi, Danny Gradia, Craig Urey. These were names here and previous names, and we stood on the shoulders of few of all-stars before us. Richie Abba, Bill Dudley, it goes on and on and on because they established something that we then got on their shoulders and built upon. This was the premier high school in South Jersey in 1965 when it opened. And I graduated, Gene and I were the 5th graduating class, and this was the mecca for basketball in South Jersey. Good teams, some really good teams, but the good teams, the great teams would come in here fearful that they're going to get beat when they come in this gym, and many of them did. And that continued all the way to this day. It still remains the mecca for basketball and for athletics in South Jersey. And I want to thank those coaches. One coach here who's here tonight, Mr. Russo, Coach Russo, but many of the coaches, Coach DeShields, I knew many of these coaches. I coached here for about 3 or 4 years, coached a really good crew of kids. When we dedicated the Ed Harvard Gymnasium back 6 months ago, some of those players came and they talked about what a great coach Ed was, but what a great mentor. What a mentor of young men. That's what it's all about. What athletics does for young men and young women. It builds character. It builds competition. It builds working together as a team with other players. You take that skill set and you take it wherever you want to take it in business and politics. It stays with you and you learn how to live life the right way. It continued for me, and as Gene said, my family had a horrific thing happen to us. But my brother played football here as a tight end on the state championship team in '65, and I followed him everywhere as a young kid. I was 4 years younger. I never was in the same school as him, but I followed him. So whatever path he made in that school, I followed. And when I got here, I knew what I wanted to do. But when that fateful day happened, I was home, went to school, and a knock on the door for my parents happened, and our whole world changed. But some families, it changed for the worse. Some families took it and motivated the rest of the kids and the rest of the family. My brother and I just took it and said, we're going to just live our lives the best we can and achieve the best we can for people. He's now in Colorado, working out there and living out there. But I'm here. I stayed home. I stayed local because I believe in this community. I believe in this high school. And, you know, I hear many times about all the new schools opportunities there are for kids. There is nothing like this school. Nothing. The cultural advantages from going to this school can stay with you your entire life. You learn to work and live with people that you're going to live and work with in your real job, in your real life, wherever you go. That is the advantage of Vineland High School and the public school system that still remains to this day. This school has so much history, so much, it has delivered so much for so many people. I want to recognize some other players too that I played baseball with, and I have stories, so many stories. I don't want to waste the whole night, but John Koya, my catcher, Koya, Charlie Mulholland, Pablo Claudio, Augie Figueroa, Gary Cocking, Richard Squillis, I know his sister's out here. Poogie Ford, whose brother Teddy played Major League Baseball for the Texas Rangers. We had so many players that helped me because we all worked as a team. And that's the idea of athletics and sports. You work together for a common goal. And when you achieve that goal, everybody succeeds. And it builds in your system and it creates that foundation for you as an individual, whatever you do, wherever you go into. I think I just want to end with thanking all of you for coming out. And you could have been doing so many different things tonight. I realize that. But I can tell you I've had a lot of titles in my life, and I was inspired to achieve because of my brother. But the titles went from, you know, commissioner. I was a school board member, for God's sakes. Gene Medios one night I'm laying in bed and the phone rings and it's Matt Gene. Says, we're going to run for school board. Go pick up petitions. That's how it all started for me. One phone call by this guy, and the rest is, you know, school board, General Assembly, Senate, commissioner, president and CEO of a major corporation in the United States. But the best title I ever had was coach. When I see a player that I coached, see him in the supermarket, and he calls me coach, it's nothing like it. I'll end with that. Good night, everybody. Have a great evening, and congratulations to everybody else.
Congratulations, Mr. Aselta, and thank you, Mr. Medio. Presenting our next honoree is Mr. Rick Barufi.
Good evening, everybody. It was my pleasure when I was asked to speak for Alicia Cox today. However, Mr. Schifalalio, didn't know I was going to have to go after Nick Aselta. That's saying something. He was one of my idols growing up also. My brother played on his team in basketball, probably in baseball too. And watching him grow up, I learned a lot of things and about sports and coaching and all kinds of stuff. But having to go after him is saying something. I look out in the stands and I see one good coach after another in here. I see great athletes out here. I've played with some. I've been involved with coaching and others. And Spence, I coached with him for years in track. Mr. DeShields also. These are all great people that have come through this system. So having to coach with them has been an honor. I could stand up here and tell you all the awards that Alicia Cox has gotten over the years. You see her name up there with the in the 1,000-point scoring range. It's actually 1,600, I think, maybe a little bit more. But that's not exactly how it could have gone. Alicia could have probably scored about 2,000 points if I hadn't taken her out of almost every game in her junior and senior year after 3 quarters because our team was beating everybody so badly. So the scoring titles are a little tainted, in my opinion. Also, there's another girl up there who played before her, same situation, and Audrey Lundy, same type of situation. We were beating teams so bad that I had to take the best players out just not to embarrass the other teams. Alicia Cox was a player like that. It didn't bother her when I did that. She wanted to see her teammates on the second and third string get in there and score baskets, and you'd see her screaming and cheering for them just as much as they scream for her during the tough parts of the game. But also, I just want to say I appreciate you letting me come up here and speak for her because a lot of people could have done this. Assistant coaches, we talk about assistant coaches and how important they are. I was also an assistant coach for Mr. Edward Harvard and for Coach Gosman, who was here when he was alive. And I learned a lot from them. I'm truly a Vineland person who's grew up in Vineland system as Nick did, as Nick Aselta and a lot of these other people have. But by me being able to pass on their legacy to someone like Alicia is a lot of fun. I do want to tell 2 little short stories. They really don't have to do with all her accomplishments, although she was a South Jersey Player of the Year, all that kind of thing. But I wanted to tell you a couple stories about when she was young. She didn't come into a program that was a dynamite team. When I took over a program midway through season 1, 2 years before she got here, the team was struggling. The coach got let go for one reason or another, or he quit, I'm not sure. And they asked me to come to the team and coach the team. So I came to that team, and we struggled that year. We had 1 win. 1 win. We had one really good player. Her name's up there also as a 1,000-point scorer. But she couldn't pass to herself, catch the ball herself, score all the points, and win any games. One player just doesn't get a job done when you're in a team sport. The next season, we went from 1 win. We got a second player who was pretty good, another guard, smaller than Alicia, and she's small. You're going to see when she gets up here. She was also very good. So now we had 2 players, very short, very small, but starting to get, but we were quick. So now we have 2 players, and we ended up winning maybe 8, maybe 9 games the second season I was coaching, second first full season, second season with with the other girl who was decent. And then Alicia Cox's group came in as freshmen. When she came in as freshman, there was a group of good girls, but she was the best. There's no doubt about it. She was a talent, and I knew that going in. But those years, during that her freshman year, we had to play Absegami. Absegami was a team that had a girl going to Connecticut, 6'4", going to Connecticut on a full scholarship. Their point guard was 6'2", going to Tennessee. And this is the team that we had to play. We were about 7-3 when we played them, and I thought, well, maybe we have a shot at this team. I didn't, I thought, well, we have 3 good players. My center was a 6'1" girl whose father was 6'8", played for Penn State. My God, she was a great athlete. She could jump out of the gym. She wasn't as big as their point guard, so it was tough. But we get into that game, and at halftime, the score was like 30-10. We were down, of course. And so I go into the halftime and say, okay, girls, if all we have to do is get in there the second half, score the first 5 or 6 points, we're right back in the game. Well, lo and behold, we get back into the second quarter or second half, and they put this 3/4 court press on us. They score like 10 points in a row. The score is now like 40-10. So I call timeout, and I kind of look over at the coach on the other side, and he's going to say, what am I going to do? They were just that good. So I said, don't worry about it. Keep on pounding us. It doesn't matter. My girls are going to grow up someday. Make a long story short, the next season we split with them. Those 2 good girls graduated, but we split with them the next year, and after that we didn't lose to them again in Alicia's career. So our girls did grow up, and they got a lot better, and we were the ones doing the beating that we used to take. Another little short story that I did want to share with you was when we played Millville. We have a couple of Millville coaches here. They probably won't remember this, but it was Alicia's freshman year, and the score is kind of tight. It was a tight game at halftime. We were up about 6 points or so, and we get into halftime. Pretty much say the same speech. Get out there, score the first 10 points, where the game's over. But we go out to warm up, and I don't see Alicia in the warm-ups. We do layups before the warm-ups, before the second half, just like the first half, and I don't see her. So I go to one of the managers, and I say, see if Alicia's in the bathroom. Find her. I don't know where she's at. So we're still doing it. Now it's about 30 seconds before the second half begins. I still don't see her. Then I see her. She's up, if you know Millville stands, she was up in the stands up there, pretty high stands. She was up there talking to some of her friends. I'm sure it wasn't her parents because they were down low. I think they were watching from a different spot. But she's up there talking with some of her friends. And I say to myself, oh, hell no, this is not going to happen. This is not going to happen for 4 more years. I am not going to put up with this crap. So the second half begins. And I need Alicia. Trust me, I need Alicia in this game because Millville, it's a close game already. So the score, so I say, okay, well, you, and you are starting, and Alicia wasn't one of the U's. So she was going to sit next to me until, and I had to ask her a few questions. So as the game's going on and Millville's catching up to 1 or 2 point game, I say, Alicia, do you know why you're sitting the bench? No. Have no clue why she's sitting the bench. I sit there a little longer, think about it, right? So the game, it continues to be a 1-2 point game the whole game through. Luckily, we win the game by a couple points. And I say, Alicia, do you know why you sat the bench? No. Okay, so I guess I have to tell my senior that she shouldn't be up in the stands with her friends, and make sure Alicia tells me that the next day in practice because we're going to discuss what happened. So the next day, but one thing about Alicia, she was happy we won the game. She wasn't mad. We won the game. She was happy. So this is the kind of maturity level that we had at that time. She was a freshman, 15 years old. I mean, who doesn't do stuff like that? Go up there and play with their friends and have fun. It's supposed to be a fun sport. Anyway, a little bit later on in her career, long ways later on in her career, we're playing Ocean City in her senior year here. Ocean City has one loss. They're the state Group 3 champions from the previous year, and we are undefeated. We need to beat Ocean City because if they beat us, it's a tiebreaker and they win the Cape Atlantic League. Well, during that game, in the first half, we're up about 4 or 5 points again, and there's a bang-bang play just about where she's sitting back there on that part of the court. And Alicia dives for the ball, and Ocean City girl dives for the ball, and Alicia's and they banged heads or banged something. The girl banged her head, probably with the other girl's knee, and her nose went from here to about over here. It was crazy. Blood coming out, like gushing from her nose, and God knows we're not going to win this game because Alicia is my go-to person. She's now a senior. Everybody's scared of her. She just, if you're on the court with her, you were not going to win. She played harder than most boys that I knew. So obviously she has to come out of the game. She's bleeding profusely. She goes into the trainer's room. Halftime comes. We went from a 6-point lead, right, with about 2 minutes to go in the half, to them taking the lead by 2 points. The momentum's totally gone. So I don't know what to say at halftime. This never really happened to us. So I'm just saying, well, we'll see if Alicia can come back, or this is what we have to do. Just try to hang in there, keep the game close. Second half starts. Alicia's still getting worked on by the trainer. About 2 minutes into the second half, she comes back. She says she has this long piece of gauze sticking out one side of her nose just to stop the bleeding. And she says, "Coach, I'm ready to go in." So, "You ready to go? Get in there," right? She goes in. She ends up turning the game completely around again, puts everything back into perspective. We win the game. We win the conference. We went undefeated in the conference. And, that just showed her legacy of how bad she wanted to win in every game that she ever played. From her freshman year where nothing mattered but probably herself until the end of her career where anything that she could do for this team mattered. I could say 1,000 great words about what I think of this young lady, but to me, she's like a daughter. Has the nicest personality. Her parents did the best job I think that any parents could do. Always has a smile on her face. So proud that I got to know her, got to coach her while she was here. Alicia Cox, everybody.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Coach. All right, so I'm very blessed to be in this position today. I'm gonna start off by thanking God, my Lord and Savior, who provided me with more than anything I could ever imagine. I want to give thanks to my parents, Willie and Stacy Cox. I know I was hard-headed growing up, but no matter what, they was able to keep me in the sport that I love. And at the same time, they taught me all about discipline, responsibility, how to never give up, and having faith in all things. I'm very grateful for my parents. Next, I want to give thanks to my favorite coach in the world, Coach Barufi. This man believed in me before I even got a chance to believe in myself. He's very observant, respectful, and knowledgeable in the game we both love. Whenever I couldn't trust myself on and off the court, Coach pulled me to the side, whether it was in the classroom or on the basketball court, and took the time to explain to me how great I was. He also taught me the value of hard work, determination, and resilience. I could go on and on about this guy. We share the same memories, heart, and love for the game. I will never forget about you, Coach. Hopefully one day we can coach together side by side. And next time I won't let you beat me in the game of one-on-one. I also want to give thanks to Coach Nate, Coach Brees, and Coach Hubbard. Unfortunately, they couldn't make it today, but I still like to thank them for attending every practice and game to make sure our team was set and ready to dominate all competition. Thank you, guys. Lastly, I want to give thanks to my teammates for believing in me. We were young, wild, and reckless in practice. We never took anything seriously. But when it came down to game time, we handled business like no other. I'm glad I got to work with such an amazing team. And thank you to everyone in the committee for thinking of me for this wonderful recognition. This has been the most meaningful and personal honor I ever received, and I'm really proud to be standing in front of you all today. Thank you.
Okay, congratulations, Alicia, and thank you, Coach Barufi. Presenting our next honoree is Mr. Steve Downey.
Good evening, everyone. Dale Jones, 65-year friendship. What could I say? Well, there's a lot I could say. We were neighbors, played sports in our backyards. When I started to put something together for this, everything turned into a roast. And if you saw the Tom Brady roast, that wasn't going to go good, especially with the group on this side of the room. So I decided to stick to the introduction. Dale graduated in 1971 from Vineland High School, was a three-sport star during his days at VHS, excelling in football, wrestling, and baseball. In football, Dale was selected all-conference, all-county, Group 4 All-Star teams. Upon graduation from VHS, Dale received a full grant and aid scholarship to play football at Drexel. He graduated from Drexel in 1975 with a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration. This led to 40 years of public service with the city of Vineland. Dale was a volunteer coach for 25 years. He dedicated his time and energy to the VBA Association, the South Vineland Little League, and Vineland Midget Football. Dale also coached for Vineland High School football for 13 years. Dale's volunteerism was not limited to just sports. Dale volunteered in numerous city and county capacities. He was on the Vineland Neighborhood Dispute Court for 8 years, Planning Board for 9 years, the Cumberland County Improvement Authority for 14 years, the North Italy Beneficial Association, where he served as president for 5 years, and helped to initiate scholarship programs for graduating Vineland seniors. Dale has spent countless volunteer hours cooking and ensuring the success of pasta fundraisers for numerous Vineland athletic teams. Dale's family, which includes his wife Carol, children Kristen and her husband Michael, Kyle and his wife, Dee, current head coach of Vineland Baseball, and grandchildren, Clark and Emily, and Sonny. And are extremely proud of this well-deserved honor for a man that has dedicated his life to various sports programs and charity groups throughout Vineland. Dale, come on down.
First things first, I'd like to know who picked him to introduce me, Kyle. I'd like to thank the committee that nominated me. It's certainly an honor. I'd like to thank a few people real quick that actually picked me to be assistant football coach here. That happens to be here. Ed Belfi, he's back there. Elliot DeShields, and the late Ron DeRucci. I'd be remiss if I forgot Ronnie. In fact, that's one disadvantage. Nick, where you at, Nick? That's one disadvantage of being in our 70s, is that the coaches that did coach us, they're no longer here to give a great speech like Rick did. And where's he at there? Anyway, Terry, fantastic speech, and I can't come close to that. Nick, obviously being a politician that you are, do an excellent job all the time. Good job. I do have one little quick story for Nick, and a lot of people don't know this story. No, it's going to be a good one. Believe me, it's none of those. We were playing baseball at Connie Mack League in Landis Park, and Nick was pitching. And there was a gentleman on my baseball team who we were the Jewish war vets. I think we were Burger King or something like that. Anyway, Bob Carlton was up at bat, which was a neighbor of Nick's, and his uncle Richie Carlton was the umpire. Well, Stumpy couldn't hit a lick if he ever lived. So anyway, well, he's gone now, but I shouldn't say that. Anyway, Nick throws a ball, and Bob's nickname was Stumpy. I got to go by the Stumpy because that's what we called him. He hits the ball down the right field line. How far is the right field line? About 160 feet, like the Little League field. Goes over the fence, home run. Well, he was on cloud nine, running around like Fred Flintstone around the bases, pointing to him the whole way, like this, and comes home, and the catcher calls timeout, goes out to Nick, and the next pitch, they pitch out, they step on the home plate. His uncle calls him out, missed home plate, coming home. True story, am I right? I know you guys would like that. But again, I'd like to thank the committee and for everyone else for this honor. Thank you. And it's almost 8 o'clock, guys.
Okay, congratulations, Mr. Jones, and thank you, Mr. Downey. Okay, presenting our final honoree tonight is Mr. Rob Manastrina.
Too tall, Dale. So for many years, I coached Vineland Soccer Association. My daughter, Holly, came home one time from school with a little registration form and said, you know, Dad, I think I'd like to do this. I said, great. So I knew nothing about soccer. Showed up at the field, coached for a few years. So one year we had a team, and this little 7-year-old girl shows up, all smiles, extremely excited, unmatched determination. Never saw a little kid like that. And I had the pleasure to coach Catherine, this little kid, for 10 more years, from 7 to 16. She was the first one to practice. She was the last one to leave. And it didn't take me very long to figure out I had someone that was going to be very special. And she certainly did that. Over the years, we played in numerous tournaments up and down the East Coast with our club team and also South Jersey Select. South Jersey Select is basically an all-star team that Catherine had no trouble becoming a member of. I do want to say she has a lot of firsts that you'll read in her bio, but she was also the first one to break curfew, okay? We found her in the hotel lobby having a little bit of fun. So she was the first one to ever break curfew. Catherine played predominantly sweeper. If you don't know much about soccer, sweeper is really the last line of defense. And if other teams had a star, I would have Catherine mark that girl. More than not, she would frustrate that girl. And I could see it as the game went on. This girl would be used to scoring goal after goal, and Catherine would just shut her down. And normally towards the end of the game, that girl would get either a yellow card or a red card because Catherine would just frustrate her. When Catherine was 12 years old, we made it to the state finals. It was up in Fort Dix. And she was a major reason that we made it to the state finals. So before the finals, I was told I had to bring all the kids' birth certificates up to the game. So I do that, and I bring them all up. The kids are already carded, but I had to bring birth certificates also. So just before the game, the commissioner comes up to me and says, we have an issue with this one girl, Catherine Krausick. So she's been playing with me for a long time. What could it be? He said, well, we can't read her birth certificate. I said, why? Well, if you don't know, Catherine was born in Poland, and her birth certificate was Polish. So it finally convinced them that, hey, she's carded. They allowed her to play the game, but they couldn't make out her birth certificate. But she came here at an early age, but was born in Poland. We were in the Pocono Cup one time, and we had a game where for us to make it to the finals, we had to score at least 5 goals, and we had to hold the opponent to 2 goals or less. So put Catherine at sweeper, and we're up 3-0. She shuts down the other team. We're up 3-0. There's 10 minutes to go in the game. I said, well, it's now or never. So we move her up to striker. In a matter of no time, Catherine scores 2 goals, assist on another goal, and we win 6-2. So if you needed to shut the other team down, you put her at defense. If you needed to win the game, you put her on offense, and we put her at striker position. I used to tell the kids out in the field, if you're tired, get your hand up in the air, and I'll sub for you. Well, for some reason, I never saw Catherine's hand in the air. I'm sure it was up there, but I never saw it. Didn't want to see it. Catherine has a wonderful family, mom and dad, and Jack used to chant and sing at Gatone Stadium during the games, something I'll never forget. But she has a wonderful, wonderful family. It's in the bio, but at Vineland, she has a lot of firsts. I remember being first, she was first team Cape Atlantic. She made the first team, the press team, all South Jersey, and Catherine was an all-state player her senior year, which is just flat out remarkable. She went on to Stockton, played there, went to watch her play there as well. I also received her bachelor's degree in biology and a master's in education administration. I tried to think of adjectives that would best describe Catherine, and this is what I came up with. You were fast, you were quick, you were athletic, you were talented, you were relentless, as I said before, unmatched determination, tenacious, competitor, and by all means a winner. And to me, that's what describes someone to be in the VHS Hall of Fame. Well deserved, Catherine. I love you.
Wow, need a tissue box for that one. Thank you, Coach. Good evening, everyone. Thank you to the Hall of Fame Committee for this incredible honor. This recognition was totally unexpected and deeply humbling. As a defensive player, we rarely score the goals that make the headlines. We do a lot of behind-the-scenes work. It's not often that our efforts are spotlighted, which makes this acknowledgement even more special to me. I'm truly honored and grateful to be recognized and given this prestigious award. I'm most excited that my husband will wake up tomorrow and say, wow, I'm married to a Hall of Famer. Louis, you're a lucky guy. And I love you. I'd like to extend my heartfelt congratulations to my fellow inductees. This honor is a testament to your hard work and dedication. Being inducted into this esteemed group is not merely a reflection of our past accomplishments, but a call to future endeavors. It signifies our responsibility to continue striving for excellence, to inspire others, and to contribute meaningfully to our respective fields and our community. So this journey started for me back in 1987 when my father took me to Maple Soccer Fields where I met Coach Rob Manastrina. Soccer has always been at the core of my family. We are immigrants from Poland, and as you know, the only sport we know is football. I really had no choice, but luckily for me, I fell in love with it from the moment my dad put a soccer ball at my feet, which was probably right after my mom brought me home from the hospital. I have many fond memories of me and my dad training in our backyard, dribbling in between pine trees, shooting at the soccer goal he built for me, and rarely getting a break. My father makes the Energizer Bunny on a full battery look lazy. My coach just kind of said that. He's up and down the fields nonstop getting the balls for us. The one thing my parents instilled in me is that to achieve anything in this world, you need to work for it. Hard work was not an option, but a way of life. I took that mentality to heart and pushed myself to excel. I was often hard on myself, not wanting to disappoint the people who had given up so much for me. Your belief in me was my anchor and my motivation. Mom and Dad, thank you both from the bottom of my heart. To my incredible coaches over the years, thank you for all that you have done for me and my teammates. Most of us played together for Coach Manastrina since we were little, and we were quite the bunch. Young, sassy, with endless energy. Looking back, I now truly appreciate your patience and commitment. You not only taught us the skills we needed on the field, but also guided us through important life lessons off the field. We were and still are a soccer family. The bonds and friendships that we made will last a lifetime. I had many soccer moms and dads. There were times when my parents could not go away for weekends, but my soccer family always took care of me. These are the memories I treasure, and I'm so thankful for. Coach Pete Fermanis, who could not be here, I'll never forget my freshman year when you paired me one-on-one with the biggest girl on the team. My first thought was, this man is out of his mind. But in reality, he knew exactly what he was doing. He pushed me to prove myself and show that I belonged on a field with anyone. He nurtured my talents, encouraged my growth, and showed me the true meaning of teamwork and perseverance. To all my coaches, your impact extends far beyond the game of soccer, and for that I am deeply grateful. I would be remiss not to thank a special coach of mine, Coach Joe Ardito, who's no longer here with us. His legacy lives on in the countless lives he's touched, and I'm forever grateful for the impact he made on me and my team. To my teammates who stopped in but couldn't stay, they were all out coaching and with their children doing things. The ones who ran alongside me, celebrated me, and yes, sometimes commiserated with me after those less than stellar games. Thank you. We laughed, we cried, we bled, sometimes literally, thanks to an over-enthusiastic slide tackle or a head ball that collided with a head rather than a ball. But we always had our backs. In closing, I want to thank everyone who has been a part of this journey. My family and friends who are here, I love you. Thank you so much. This induction is not just a reflection of my efforts, but all the support, guidance, and love I received along the way. It's a testament to the incredible VHS community that nurtures and celebrates their athletes. So here's to VHS, to soccer, to the memories we've made, and to the ones still to come. Thank you for this incredible honor.
Okay, congrats, Kat. Thank you, Coach Manastrina. I think I speak for the entire Hall of Fame committee and everybody in attendance tonight when I say that it was an honor to be a part of this process and to be here tonight to recognize our new inductees. And how about one final round of applause for all 5 of our new inductees? Okay, to wrap things up tonight, we're inviting to the microphone the man who's been our acting athletic director for most of the school year. I'm pretty sure he considers Vineland his second home at this point, Mr. Jeff Haynes.
it's always tough to give the closing remarks as I'm following all these great people. And everyone's tired. I'm sure it's been a nice long night, beautiful night though. So if you don't mind, I'll keep my speech to about 30 minutes. Is that right? Real quick, I've had the pleasure of being the acting athletic director here. Unfortunately, the past athletic director had some medical issues, and I was fortunate enough to be asked to come here. Dr. Rossi asked me back in the first week of November if I would fill in an indefinite amount of time. And I had just retired last year from the same job with kids in high school. So I was like, Joe, I just can't do it. And he said, can you please give me 2 weeks? Well, today was day 125 for me. And the reason I mention that is because of the wonderful people here in this district that I knew nothing about, about a year ago, and have come to, as Schiff said, have a second family here. And this wonderful event highlights that, whether it's from the maintenance staff of Joe and Dave and Mike to the custodial staff, Roberto, great secretarial staff, Jen in our office, staff of all types, students, coaches, all of them, except for Russo, administrators, Ashley, who I've worked hand in hand with, and of course Schiff, who's taking over. And I have to say, the district, you have a win by hiring this gentleman, because he will honor the past as we have tonight. And he has the vision of the future to do things we heard about tonight, whether it's to expand into something like that School with Blue and Orange has for their Hall of Fame, and other things that I think you're going to see improved upon in the coming years. So it's a win-win for this district. Real quickly, the last thing I want to say, if you look on the back page of this program, a couple things to highlight. If you have someone that you would like to honor or nominate, the address is there, as well as papers in the back. A lot of other thank yous that may not have been mentioned tonight. As you saw, the inductees got wooden Vs. Those were made by the CAD students and Mr. Giambri, and the art class, Mrs. Parent and her students painted those. Also, thank you to our ROT students and Sergeant Eubanks. Again, we saw Mr. Mohan, the Historical Society, our FAA club students, Ms. Castellini, and all the people that helped print this program. It's a wonderful program, and it's great for you all to have, especially the honorees for you and your family to have. And with that, once again, congratulations to everyone. Have a great night and safe trip. Thank you.